Welcome back to Cooking with Papa. Today I'm going to show you how to make some chicken tikka masala or butter chicken. We're going to accompany that with some homemade naan bread. This is my first time making this at home, so we're going to learn together. We're going to start off by cutting down 4 chicken thighs into bite-sized pieces. Everyone's definition of bite-size is different. I like them on the smaller side. Okay, seasoning-wise, we're going to start with some coriander. After that, we're going to get some Kashmiri chili powder. This was really hard to get. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I drove about a half-hour away to get it. Shout out to a store in Middletown, New York called Auji. They came through clutch. Now we're going to do some garam masala. Garam masala smells incredible. It's like a combination of 7 different spices. We're going to come in with a little olive oil. Now some turmeric. You want to be careful with turmeric. If you put too much, your food's going to be bitter. Now, of course, we're going to do some plain Greek yogurt. And I want to do about a 1/4 cup of this. I didn't put a lot. I didn't use a lot of chicken.
I'm not sure what to do with my hand.
And now we're going to go to work. We're just going to blend everything in.
Yeah, baby!
I walked by the chili powder and it whispered, let's add a little bit more. Now we're going to come in and we're going to squeeze half of a lemon in there. I did put some salt on here as well. Remember, always to taste. Once everything is mixed in pretty good, we're going to cover and we're going to set this aside in the fridge for about 4 hours. We're going to leave some butter outside for about 4 hours. We want this room temperature for when we make the naan butter. Okay, I'm back from work. Let's make some naan bread. We're going to start by putting in a 1.5 cups of milk.
Oh, behave.
You want to add 1 tablespoon of sugar. Next, we're going to do rapid rise instant yeast. Now this, we're going to do 2 teaspoons. And you want to mix everything really well. Once everything is nice and mixed, we're going to come in with 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Okay, so you want to mix everything really well with this. Eventually, it's going to turn into like dough. Then you want to knead everything down. You want to put some olive oil on the pan. You want to put the ball that you make in there. You want to cover, and you want to set aside for about an hour. This is supposed to rise if you do it right. Okay, now it's time that we start working on that curry gravy. I only had half of a red onion, but we're gonna make it work. I'm gonna use a white onion as filler. I think the white onion is gonna work perfectly because it's not a flavored onion. It doesn't have any sweetness to it, and I think it'll absorb the little bitterness that the red onion gives. Okay, it's time to get that 4-hour marinated chicken. It smells really good. We're gonna get some oil on a hot pan, and we're gonna give this chicken some color. Okay, now keep this in mind. We only cut down 4 thighs. It's not a lot of chicken. It was about 1 pound of chicken. But I cooked it in 2 different batches. You never want to overcrowd your hot pan because then your chicken's going to start to sweat and it's not going to get that sear. It's not going to get that nice brown color that we're looking for. Our chicken is about 80 to 90% cooked. We're going to remove and now we're going to add some butter to that same pan. We're going to let that butter melt down. And of course, now we're gonna come in with those onions that we chopped up. Ginger garlic paste, about 1 tablespoon. Okay, now we're gonna come in with some more turmeric. Remember, you wanna respect the turmeric, but don't be afraid of the spices. Let's get some Kashmiri chili powder. Let's go a little heavy. I like it spicy. I wouldn't recommend that you put as much as I put unless you really like spicy food. We're gonna come in with some bay leaves and we're gonna cook this down. The objective here is not to saute these onions. You want to cook them down to the point that they become very pasty. That is very important. Every video that I saw making this, it kind of highlighted that you want to cook these all the way down. You see the color change? You want to continue. That's what we're looking for. Keep cooking it down. Be patient. Keep cooking it down. Remember, this is not a rush. We're trying to get the end result to be incredibly tasty. I use this marinara as my tomato puree. The reason why I picked this one is, honestly, it had no artificial flavoring or coloring or anything like that. When I checked the ingredients, this was literally just tomatoes. In regards to the onions, you want to cook these down until you see the oil kind of separate from it. Now you know it's ready. Let's go ahead and throw that tomato sauce in there. We're gonna add some more garam masala to this. And once we added this, it smelled incredible in the house. You want to give that a nice little stir, and now we're going to come in with some salt to taste. And speaking of taste, now is a good time for you to actually taste what you're making. I felt like it needed some more spices, so I went and I added some more garam. And I also felt like it was missing a kick, so I added a little bit more of the Kashmiri chili powder. Remember, I like it really spicy.
How'd that get in there?
I've also seen people that throw sugar in here to kind of balance all the flavors. I'm not a sugar in my food kind of guy, but I do know that ketchup contains a lot of sugar. So let's throw some ketchup in there for that balance. Now we're gonna come in with some kasuri methi, which is dried fenugreek leaves. This smelled really, really good. I felt like this was exactly what it was missing. You know, I tried it and I was like, it's really good, but it's missing something. I can't quite put my finger on it. That was it. Now we're gonna come in with some heavy whipping cream. And you wanna mix until you get like an orange kind of color. Don't be afraid to start with a little at a time. I kind of had an idea of how much I was gonna put in there, but you kind of wanna mix everything in, stir it in until it looks like a vodka sauce almost. Okay, one last taste test, and I got excited because it tasted like tikka masala. We're gonna go ahead and throw our chicken back in there. We're gonna make sure everything is nice and coated, and we're gonna cover this. We're gonna simmer this for about 10-15 minutes. While that simmers down, it's gonna be the perfect time for us to work on that naan bread. You guys remember that butter that we left outside room temperature? Yeah, let's go ahead and melt that down. We're gonna put some flour on our counter, and we're gonna check to see if our bread rose. It did not. So we're gonna go back to kneading it, okay? And then we're gonna put it aside. We're gonna make this happen. We're not gonna quit in the kitchen. We're gonna grab some parsley. We're gonna put that butter that we melted. We're gonna chop down the parsley. We're gonna chop down some garlic cloves. And that's gonna be our naan butter. Listen, I know the bread didn't rise, but we're gonna make this work. We're gonna try again. Once that garlic is nice and minced, we're gonna go ahead and combine everything in that butter, mix everything around a little bit, and this is the consistency that you want. Wow. Okay, let's try this again. Fingers crossed. Woohoo! I told you, we're just gonna keep trying until we get it right. That's the good thing about the kitchen. It's a trial and error type of thing. I've made plenty of dishes that I didn't eat, and I've made plenty of dishes that I really enjoyed. So let's roll this naan out. Let's cut a piece off. This is not perfect. I couldn't find my roller. We make things work here, okay? We do with what we have. Okay, on a hot pan, we're gonna put some oil, spread it around, throw the naan bread on there. Once it starts to build these little air pockets, it's cooking right. You wanna flip it over like this. At this point, you just wanna make sure that you're not overcooking it. We're gonna grab a little bit of that butter, spread it around just like that. Okay, guys, we did it. We made butter chicken. All I did to garnish was I put a little fresh cilantro on there, a little bit more of that cream. Our naan bread is delicious. The house smells good. I want to give a shout out to Loris for the suggestion. Thank you, Loris. I hope you make it. So I ate the tikka masala. It was delicious. And I didn't record it. You guys to think that I made something that's not edible. So here it is. My buttered chicken. And that is on the naan bread that I made here at home. Here we go. Super good. Super spicy. I think this is one of the first times that I could tell you I have fun making this meal. All the spices, all the flavors. It's perfect. I love it. Make it. Follow the recipe. It's incredible. It's really good.